All right, we've got some breaking news for you right now. We're finding out that the decision on James Comey, whether or not the congressional hearing in which he was supposed to have testimony behind closed doors, that was scheduled for Monday. Now we're hearing that a court is going to decide whether or not they're going to enforce that subpoena, maybe whether it's going to be behind closed doors. They're going to decide that at 10 a.m. on Monday. We'll hear from that judge. Joining us now to talk about all of this is Alan Dershowitz, Harvard law professor and author of The Case Against Impeaching Trump. Thank you so much for joining us. So let's start with the news that just broke. What do you think the judge is going to say on Monday morning?
Well, I hope he'll say that the inquiry should be open. The American public should be able to see everything. There should be no secrets unless there's a good reason for a secrecy. Let Comey testify, let him be examined by both sides, and let the public judge as to whether he's telling the truth. I don't see any particular reason for closed door. If there are classified issues, they can go behind closed doors. But in general, his testimony should be open to the public. That should be the presumption always. The public gets to see and hear unless there's a very, very strong reason for keeping it secret.
So, I mean, we heard those that are going to be in the meeting say that that's not the issue. They'd be happy to tape record it and air it immediately afterwards or hand it out. That the problem is really that when you sit in front of lawmakers, each side has 5 minutes. So you can't really press on. I mean, you know that well from litigating yourself, that you want to be able to go follow up, follow up, follow up, and not let the person kind of escape in 5 minutes. That's the reason they want to do it elsewhere. Do you buy that?
Well, that's not something for courts to decide. Congress has the power to make its own rules. I don't like those rules. I hate the idea of these 5 minutes. Mostly you see filibusters and no follow-ups.
Right.
Often you see the worst questions because these congressmen are not good lawyers, many of them. But those are rules of Congress. I don't see that the court has real authority to decide what the best rule should be for Congress. I think Congress makes the rules. The courts come in only if there's a violation of the Constitution or a violation of a specific statute.
Okay, let me turn you to some of the other news of the day. Special counsel Robert Mueller's team saying they're considering pressing new charges against President Trump's former campaign manager, Paul Manafort. This is just one day after the president's former lawyer and confidant, Michael Cohen, reached a plea deal with the Mueller team. The issue here is they're saying that he has since lied after the plea deal, so they want to break up the plea deal. What do you make of that?
Well, I don't understand his Manafort's lawyer's tactic here. If you're going to cooperate, you have to cooperate all the way. You have to tell the complete truth. You can't be a half cooperator working with the Trump legal team at the same time that you're trying to cooperate and then not tell the whole truth. The problem with these kinds of plea deals, the reason I almost never make them in 55 years of practice, is they give ultimate authority to the prosecutor to decide who's telling the truth.
Right.
And the prosecutor often has a vested interest in one version of truth rather than another. So I think Manafort is in deep trouble.
So it's possible that the prosecutor is saying that he's lying because he doesn't like the answer that he's given, or does he have to have something to corroborate the fact that he's saying that Manafort is lying?
Look, prosecutors are mostly honest and honorable people. I suspect they have good information, but they don't need it. All they have to do is say he's lying. That's enough. They don't have to prove it. They don't need corroboration. But I suspect any good prosecutor, and you know, there are people in the Mueller office who are very honorable people, are not going to just make up a story breaking the deal unless they have a good basis for it. So I suspect they have a pretty good basis for reaching the conclusion that Manafort is not telling them the whole truth. Remember, it doesn't have to be a lie. It could also be refusal to disclose information that, as part of the deal, he was obliged to disclose. But I think they are saying he was lying, and that means they can also charge him with the additional crimes of lying to prosecutors.
Yeah, those have been the reports. We don't know for sure. We'll see. Professor Dershowitz, thank you as always for your time.